Hey there! We're here to talk to you about, wait. Oh, unity. Unity. Yes. All right. I should probably continue. I can't really breathe too well. So we're going to talk about unity. And what is unity? It's fairly straightforward, right? It's you two becoming one. It's the glue in our marriage. And without it, when I'm trying to understand a topic, I often try and use the contrast method. So what is the opposite of unity? And that would be, separation and isolation. And those are things that God can use separation and isolation, but the devil uses it more than God, being separate and isolated. And so in our marriage, it's important that we understand God's plan for unity and that we embrace it and that we're aware of when we're not in unity with our spouse. And so in this session, you're going to learn a lot about what that looks like. And, for me, a personal story about me and unity is I didn't really grow up. I grew up pretty poor, right? I couldn't really rely on my parents to meet kind of basic needs. We had electricity go out, rent. There was always a little bit of stress for me in my life around getting the basic needs met. And my reaction to that in relationships going forward was that I thought the best way to handle that is to be in isolation. I will be my own island. I don't need to rely on anybody, because if I don't rely on anybody, then I can't be let down. And so that was my isolation and how that played a part in my own life. And then when I met beautiful Pamela and I realized, and going through therapy for my first marriage, I realized that was an issue and that I had to work through that and do the hard work of therapy. And that got me the other side of understanding the importance of unity and the importance of connection. So we don't know what your family history looks like. You may have similar stories that affect how you connect with and relate to your spouse, but it's something that we'll cover in some of the exercises where you'll get to talk about that. And it's an important thing to talk about. It's important to understand where our spouse is coming from and the things that have impacted their natural reaction to things, their ability to connect and love, to receive love, to give love. And so our hope is we'll focus on this section and get some great takeaways. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, but the transactional nature of what a marriage can become and unity are really at odds with one another. So unity is where we're looking at ourselves as two becoming one. We're together, and my love is not contingent upon anything you're doing back for me. And so again, the beautiful part of God's design for marriage is unity. So when we look at a marriage that's functioning optimally and you're in unity, what does it look like when we're not, when things are a little out of alignment? And so what tends to happen, and there's many books on this, Love and Respect and others that talk about this concept, but when I start to feel disconnected, my natural reaction may be I stop being as nice or showing love or cherishing Pamela.
Or you withdraw.
Or I withdraw. I might say, I'm going to go hang out with my friends or pursue interests that I have that are away from her. And she might start to say, well, I don't really respect you as much. I'm going to start withholding my love or withholding sex or other things. And that's where things can start to spiral. And so it's very important that we're cognitive and aware of unity. And when we talk later on about what a healthy marriage looks like, we'll talk about this idea of smoke signals. We need to be looking for these things before they turn into a blazing inferno and the whole house burns down, right? So it's something that we need to pay attention to and be aware of so we can stop the problem before it becomes too big. So unity in a marriage doesn't mean that we lose our identity in marriage. It doesn't mean we do absolutely everything together. I like to play water polo. Pam?
I like to shop.
Shopper, yeah. And so sometimes those things cross paths. So I go shopping with her sometimes.
But I do not play water polo.
But she might come spectate.
But I do.
But the point is we don't lose our individuality. We're just in unity and we can celebrate the unique attributes about ourselves. I love your shoe collection. Great shoe collection.
And I do love going to watch you make goals. So that's pretty fun.
So it's important though to note, we don't want to be overbearing and assume that we're going to be together all the time doing everything. So that can happen sometimes if we have issues around abandonment or other aspects of our family history that we haven't dealt with. Those can kind of come in where we're expecting our spouse to complete every aspect of our lives. And so it's very important when we talk about unity that we also factor in the fact that we both benefit from having same-sex friends and they pour into our lives in a different way than maybe our spouse would.
Mhm.
And it's unfair. And this is actually something I did in my first marriage, is I expected my wife to meet all of my needs. She needed to be my friend. She needed to be my lover. She needed to be my co-parent. She needed to be my co-household runner. And so that's too much of a burden to put on one person. And it's very healthy to share and distribute that load with other people in your lives. So when we talk with couples that might be in crisis or struggling with issues in their relationship, a common theme is safety. Feeling safe, feeling secure in that relationship, feeling loved unconditionally. And so unity and safety really go hand in hand. Unity is God made us one and we're unified, and there's nothing that's going to break that apart. And if we are both in sync with that, and our lives and behavior support that ideology, then we feel safe. We naturally feel safe. I can make a mistake. She can have a bad day. And there are days like this happens. Like, I'm feeling off today, Pamela. I'm grumpy. I don't know why. I can't explain it. And your reaction is?
That's okay.
That's
It's nice to just know about it up front.
Yeah. So it's that communication. And I have assurance. I know she loves me, that we're safe and we're secure and we're unified. And so that gives me the freedom to have bad days, to make mistakes, to communicate things that are maybe hard to hear, or frustrations or sadness or angst.
Because you know that I'm still going to love you no matter what.
That's it. Mm-hmm. That is unity, which begets safety. And so another interesting thing about unity is it does parallel our walk with God. Mm-hmm. And so if we want to have unity, and we talk about things, I'm sure you can think of your own examples. How do I have unity? What's it going to require of me? It's going to require, at times, submission a lot, and sometimes sacrifice. Maybe I don't get to go play water polo because I need to go shopping with her because I haven't been spending time with her enough. Mm-hmm. So submission and sacrifice with unity, those are the ingredients that help us have an amazing marriage. And we're going to go a lot deeper into that into the next session.